Oh god, this is a horrible angle. Come on. See, this would be perfect, so let me try to get it to this. Okay, so I think that's as good as we're going to get here. So, yeah, I have, like, been off of YouTube for quite a while. Consistently been going through a huge turmoil. And so today we're going to eat a sandwich, the prosciutto elementale from Tartine. They opened up a Tartine in Korea, and they opened up another branch within the SSG food market. And so it's a grand opening there. They're going crazy. So I never really had the... Ooh, it looks very artisanal. You can see the crust here. You know, it's like a deep ridge valley. Yeah. It's the Tartine ASMR eating video. I think they made it in the morning. It's good, but it doesn't taste fresh. So anyway, I have been, not with you guys, I'm sorry. But, you know, we're trying to talk about Korean society and news. There are not a lot of people actually who really were into it, but the ones who were, thank you so much. You guys were a very loyal audience. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with this channel, but what I have decided is that I'm going to give myself the most amount of artistic freedom and freedom of expression, and I'm not going to hold back the way that I used to. People are always like, you know, in real life, oh wow, I wish I could just like watch a YouTube channel of you just talking. I'm like, well, I don't know if I could talk that freely. But conditions have changed in the sense that, yeah, I don't give an F. I'm talking freely. Well, how are you? And I'm just trying to decide. I love how this kind of like comes out like it's a herb garden along a wall. I think if this is supposed to be a sandwich that competes in San Francisco, I think they wimped out here in Korea to up the profit margin. Because it's, you know, like sometimes when there's a sandwich where they get by with the bare minimum layer. That's this sandwich. So I have been making my own artisanal bread lately. And so I was very curious to see, like, okay, I'm very proud of how it comes out. I love how it tastes. It's delicious. And so I was like, oh gosh. And so I don't want to buy this bread because I can make something similar, but I want to know, you know, if this is better bread, I want to eat it. But I think I'm okay knowing I'm not missing out if I make my own bread. Of course, this is not toasted. Again, when you retoast this artisanal bread, it really does change everything. And so, and that way it's not fair. On the other hand, I can't toast it with like arugula in there. It's going to be charred arugula. And who wants like a damp, wet sandwich? No, sorry. There's stone ground mustard, although you probably barely taste it. There's mayonnaise, but you probably barely taste it. There's prosciutto, you barely taste it. There's elemental cheese, you barely taste it. There's arugula, you barely taste it. Obviously, there's a lot of bread. You can barely taste it. It's a barely there sandwich. You know, any food that you make and sell to people should not just be barely there. Only if it was specifically made for that purpose, where you're an establishment where the focus is actually on talking and meeting, then you don't want your food to be so overly involved it should just be barely there. And I guess maybe that is the market that they're catering to, all those housewives who are out to work. Okay, let's just say housewives in Korea, they're not really idle. They're out there to play, honey. They're out there to get the information about their kids, about investments, about any little thing, gossiping, positioning. It's, it's out there. So the food, yeah, I guess should barely be there because they're not there for the food. Not for the food, let me tell you. They're not there for makeup tips either. But when I go and pay $9 for a sandwich, I don't want it to just be barely there. I'd like it for it to wow me. I'm not wowed. I'm hungry. I'm grateful for the food. I'm grateful for the chance to try it. Well, honey, you tried me. You tried me with the sandwich. The $9 sandwich, you tried me. I'm not going to try it again. I was excited because they had the apple brie, which I love that combination on this type of sandwich from San Francisco. That's where I first had that and discovered the amazingness of a warm chicken apple brie sandwich. Didn't look like there was hardly any brie in there, not good brie. There was no chicken. And just really barely there slivers of apple. That whole thing should be just called just landed and barely set up our kitchen. Oh, if you're a Tartine in San Francisco, you better check up on the operations here. I'll give you a tip, because you're probably not used to this. You have to work with a Korean partner, yes. If you were operating this directly, I'd be surprised. You want to enter this market, you always got to get a Korean partner. But that partner, and they will also you probably, my theory, have decided to have made the original recipe similar to what you'd get in San Francisco, which would probably be double the stuffings. And agreed on it and everything was so fine. And then come opening day, that partner started taking stuff out of here just to make it barely there. And pockets the rest. Sends it along to, that'll be another conversation. Anyhow, check up on the person, entity, people making the stuff here. If you care about, if you have this reputation for quality, you better check up on them. All I'm eating is a barely there prosciutto elemental sandwich. It's basically bread, honey, bread for days. As long as if you can spread a sandwich, just one layer, It's barely there. So it's been cold, but it hasn't been the coldest it's ever been in Korea. Not by a long shot. Thank goodness for that. You know those people who always have real short-term seasonal memory. Whatever season they're in, it's the hottest summer I've ever remembered. No, it's not. Oh, it's the coldest winter I've ever had. No, it's not. No. And you didn't have all the numbers. You just... No. It really bugs me when people do that. Because then you start to question what else they remember. Y'all want to know what the secret to this is, huh? When I was making these breads, I discovered it. Well, learned about it, right? It's steam. Steam makes the crust. So there's high-end ovens that spray steam at the right time to do this. The everyman's bougie everyman's method is you get a Dutch oven, you know, like a Le Creuset, and you have to have one where you can put the lid in the oven in a hot oven. Keep it closed for 75% of the baking process. The steam inside from the dough will create the water, so you don't need a fancy oven that steams it. I've also tried it in the regular pot, like a stainless steel pot with a lid that you could put into the oven. And that is one step below bougie everyman's method. Because I think most people have a pot that has like a handle that cannot go into the oven, a lid that cannot go into the oven, you know? Or, truly the everyman method is that actually you put a tray of water into the oven. And so as the hot, and put in boiling water so it's already started, you know, it's doesn't have to heat up. So when it's go time, it's starting to steam because there's a pan or even like, you know, metal cups, any kind of like receptacle that you can put into the oven at the same time with water. Do that. And that is the everyman way. Otherwise, just put it in the liquor side. And if you already have some steam function, you don't even know. You don't even need to know. Unless you're like one of those people who have the steam thing and you didn't know why. I guess, I don't know, maybe you could steam broccoli or something in there too. I've only heard about that once when I went to somebody's house. He said, "Oh, and there's a steamer function." I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Now I do. You know, I like to pull on the ridge. And then I always wondered, you know, like there's a dusting of flour. I was like, well, I don't understand. Is that really raw flour you're eating? Yep, it is. Why is it there at the end of the process when you're trying to shape the dough to put it onto wherever the pan or in the bowl? I like to put it on like parchment paper. This is wax paper, but parchment paper that looks like this. And you need that flour so that you can actually hold it and move it. And then people like the look of it at the end. It's kind of cool, but also, ew, raw flour. Okay. Seven out of 10. That's what I would rank this sandwich. 7 out of 10. All the quality was high. It had no, I think, bad ingredients. But it just wasn't, it was barely there. It's different than a nothing burger. But a berry sandwich, please. Okay. So I'll see you next time. Enjoy the world. Until then, ta-ta.